You never think a tragedy can happen in your life until it does. You go through existence thinking you're special, that you're exempt from those things. You hear stories about those unfortunate souls around you that experience sudden and unexpected loss, and you think, that's awful, but they just got really unlucky, right? What are the chances of that happening to me? And then one day, it just happens. You're completely unprepared for it. One second, someone is in your life. The next, they're just gone. And now, you don't know what to do. How could you know? People rush to comfort you. They tell you that although they're gone, their memories will stay with you forever. That one day, you think of the time you spent together, all the laughs you had, the grand adventures, and you'll smile. But right now, all I can feel is just pain. Overwhelming pain. I don't want the memories. I want her. I want Brainiac. So this video is about designing Five Nights at Freddy's plushies. Since this is a part 2 to this video, you should go watch it first if you haven't. I'll try and keep the intro brief. Since we still have several groupings of animatronics left to design, we'll have to decide how to divvy them up going forward, and since I don't think I could live with myself if I ended this 3-parter with the Trash Gang, I think I'll just bite the bullet and take care of them here in part 2. Oh, sorry, Trash and the Gang. I called them Trash Gang last time. Unwatchable channel. Unsubscribe right now. Since I feel bad making you guys sit through me turning household objects into plushies 5 times in a row, I decided, you know what? I'll just give you guys the salvage animatronics right after. I feel like those are the ones everyone probably wants to see the most, so I was going to save them for the last part, but if you've sat through these fuckers, you've earned it. Consider it a spoonful of sugar to help the trash medicine go down. Mine is Lefty though. I'm going to save him for next time since I don't have a Rockstar Freddy yet. In his place though, I offer you a security puppet. Yeah, they're both puppets, like, technically. Alright, that's enough yapping from me. Time for some plushie making.
Come on, man, you don't owe me nothing.
Yes, I do. If you ever need anything, it's yours.
Give me Mr. Hugs, man.
No!
Okay, let's be honest. We all wanted a stuffed version of our vacuum cleaner to cuddle with as kids, right? 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 Already, I can tell these things are going to be really tough to fit into our plushie style. Like, what do I even do with this? With Candy Cadet, he at least had a shape that loosely resembled all our other characters. He has a head and a torso and parts that kind of resemble legs, but here, all we have is a vacuum, T-posing arms, and a pair of eyeballs. Not ideal. My initial thought was to look and see if there existed any plush toys of vacuums out there to at least brainstorm a little before, but what the fuck is that? All I could find was this plush toy for babies, and yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I expected. Just kind of the basic shapes that comprise a vacuum with a smiley face on it, so not super helpful. Although it does apparently emit vacuum white noise and a button on it is pressed. Do I smell a new idea? I think the only approach available to me here is to just make a simplified chibi version of this guy and hope for the best. So here's the result. Pretty much all I did was scrunch the proportions down and thicken the body rod and arms. Removed a good amount of details to keep them clean and appealing too. All the main landmarks are here though, the 2-layered vacuum bottom, the dust bag on the back, and the handle on top with some grippy ridges. Normally I don't include hands or fingers on these plushies unless they're long and prominent enough. However, I feel like Mr. Hug's little white hands are important enough to include. He'd look weird with just the stumps, I think. I did remove the individual digits to make them mitten-shaped though, for simplicity's sake. This yellow light on the front has something interesting. Since it has this crosshatchy pattern on the model, I decided to bring back that mesh texture we used on the Funtime speakers, just for fun. What a cool tactile element to my vacuum cleaner toy. This is really gonna fly off the shelves. That, though, is pretty much all I have to say for Mr. Hugs. Definitely not a plush anyone has ever asked for, but I did the best I could with the design. By the way, fun fact, I accidentally leaked this design on stream a couple months ago by opening my Discord window that just so happened to have an image of him visible, so masterful gambit by me. No! No! Fuck. Okay, did I just fuck up royally? Hold on. Okay. No! I leaked Mr. Hugs! Oh no! Oh, that was entirely unintentional. No! No! What? Okay, well, Mr. Can-Do's body is just a cylindrical trash can with boards for arms, so I think that'll at least be pretty easy to accomplish. But the floating balloon head is where I start to get worried. Obviously, we can't have the head, actually float. I don't think anyone has invented a helium-filled plush toy yet, so the question becomes, what will hold up the head? A thin plush cylinder acting as the string will definitely not be strong enough to hold that thing up, so what, do we give him a big, thick neck or something? We could maybe make it black with a thin white line on the front to kind of fake the effect of it being just the string, but that would still look stupid as hell. So how do I do this? Here's my design. As you can see, I didn't even bother. I completely sidestepped the issue by just attaching the head directly to the trash can lid handle, making it look like the balloon is just tied down with a really short string. This, hopefully, would give us a sturdy enough foundation for the big plush balloon head to sit on, and if that isn't good enough on its own, some good old reliable plastic or cardboard on the inside should do the trick. Problem solved. Everything else is pretty cut and dry. We've got the plush trash can with the protruding lid edge and vertical stitch lines, these two thin attached angled shapes acting as the board arms, and the stitched on face, mimicking the Sharpie scribbled look the original model has. And dagnabbit, that is probably as good of a Mr. Can-Do plush as anyone could ever hope for. Notice how I said could hope for. No one does, but yippee, another one down.
I'm
Bucket.
Bob. I'm
Bucket.
Bob. I'm
Bucket.
Bob.
At first glance, this design might seem easier to adapt than the others. I mean, look, he's actually got a proper body, arms, and legs. But then you look at him a bit closer and you realize, oh, he is a Styx. With other incredibly thin, spindly characters like the Endos and the puppet, we at least had ways to get around how thin their bodies were while keeping the basic plush shape. Endo 01 has a V shape formed by the beams of his body. Bam, we can make that a solid wide plush piece. The puppet has this slightly wider chest than their waist. Bam, we can exaggerate that into a wider chest. However, what do we do when a character's body is, literally just a straight line? There's no way to exaggerate this. It's just a pull. Obviously, we can thicken it, like we did with Mr. Hug's cylindrical body, but that's kind of all we're able to do. I think I'll just have to accept that this one will be a little odd-looking, and most likely a little structurally dubious, too. Listen, it's just Bucket Bob, okay? Sometimes I gotta pick my battles. But here's what I came up with despite it all. As you can see, his body is indeed a plush cylinder. This would definitely require some plastic or cardboard support on the inside to work and a shit ton of weighted beads towards the bottom half. Even then, I don't know how achievable this would be in real life, but whatever. Let's not think about it too hard. Don't worry about it, kitten. Since Bucket Bob has these ropes connecting the wooden beams making up his body, very realistically placed ropes that totally make sense in a 3D space, I might add, I included them on the plushie. Yes, these could just be raised, stitched on lines. However, I think it would look good to have actual thick threads wrapped around and attached. Might help to add some weight to the body anyway. Bucket Bob also has hands that are important enough to include as is, ones that are literally oven mitts this time, funnily enough. His legs have these bolts on either side of the hips, like the model. Gotta at least imply structural integrity. And of course, the star of the show, the bucket. That's a bucket shape, alright? Even has a string hanging here to look like the handle. Wow. I still have 2 more of these things to get through. Oh my god. Slap a stitched-on scribbly face on there and hey, Bucket Bob's finished, everybody. A plush that can't really be cuddled with and looks too dumb to sit on your shelf. Worst of both worlds. Luckily, Pan Stan is pretty much the exact same body as Bucket Bob, so with a copy and paste, most of the work is already done. Oh, Bob, is this what you had under those mitts? You don't have to be insecure about that. Come on, let those thumbs out, brother. Fly free. Aside from that, there's pretty much just this frying pan part to deal with, which shouldn't be too hard anyway. Let me show you the little bastard. As you can see, we have this big dish shape for the head. This will definitely require some plastic or cardboard structure in the inside to keep its shape, which might make this thing a bit top-heavy, but once again, whatever. We won't think about it. All that was left was to add the handle that's tucked under the ropes, take off those mittens, and there we go, Pan Stan. There he is. Wow, he's so finished. Whoa. Now, there's just one more. Just one more tie. We'll never have to think about trash ever again. Except for on Wednesdays, when the trash company comes. And when I'm watching, Ahiru no Soda. Wow, bet I just triggered all the fans of this anime out there.
So in the comment section below, right when this opens, everybody say, Lou Dip is one of the books!
At least we have an easy finish here. This guy is just a cube. I mean, technically, this guy is a crate shape with an opening at the top and hollow body, but that would make for an awful plushie. Obviously, a plush cube will be better. So, here he is. Wow, my finest work yet. The cage-like beams of the crate are represented by these stitch lines across the body, which are absent in the top to make it look like an empty box. The eyes are flat circles, just like the model. No need for spherical eyes at all. And he's got his arms and hands that are just big foam fingers, made of plush material, of course. I simplified this hand design on it to remove the separate digits, similar to what I did with Mr. Hug's hand, although this time it's just, you know, a 2D pattern. I thought maybe these could be printed on vinyl, similar to how a lot of actual real-life foam fingers do it, but since that technique does not hold up well over time apparently, I think we'll just have to dip back into some printed-on fabric for this. Hex, I love you, but this is not going to still look like this in 20 years. That's all there is to it though. That's number 1 crate, and oh my god, we're done? No more trash gang? Let's fucking go! As promised, we now have the scrap animatronics to take on. But before we dive right into them, why don't we get Security Puppet out of the way real quick, as a little appetizer.
The security puppet takes control of the toy animatronics and begins attacking the city because Charlie blamed the parents for the damage they caused, even though William Afton was behind the curtain the whole fucking time and was responsible for everything. God! Fuck this movie!
Oh yeah, Security Puppet actually has a Funko, don't they? That makes them the only one in this episode. Just, barely clearing the bar for that video title, huh? The plush sucks anyway. They look like a dinky, gummy version of themselves. Kinda like if the little fetus bonnet on Funtime Freddy was its own full plush. I do at least appreciate that they tried the whole coming out of the gift box thing instead of settling for a simple puppet recolor. It's something, okay? We gotta appreciate any little bits of innovation we get in these plushies. We can improve upon this fairly easily though, and all we really have to do is take our puppet plush, tweak it, remove its legs and pelvis, and stick it to a little opened plush gift box. And here is that now. As you can see, the gift box part here isn't actually a full cube like Funko's. I squished it down considerably to once again retain our proper plush proportions. This box is essentially a replacement for their legs, so it's gotta take up the same space that they do. The puppet themselves is just a tweaked version of our original. The face shape, eyes, and mouth have all been altered to properly resemble their security version, with the top lip removed and tears changed to blue. The biggest addition to this version of the puppet, though, is this pointing cap coming off the back of the head. Gives them more of a jester-y vibe than our original puppet. Or maybe it's supposed to look like one of those sleepy nightcap things, like the whole Scrooge pajama look. Maybe that's how this whole thing happened. The puppet was just asleep on the job. Oh my god, wait. Striped pajamas. The music box lullaby. Oh my god, sleepy puppet theory. Get on that, right, Toast? So, there's security puppet finished. Alright, it's scrapping time.
It feels like my birthday.
So, funny story, Scrap Baby doesn't actually have a Funko plush, despite what my thumbnail would make you believe. Wow, I'm all kinds of deceptive today, aren't I? This design instead comes from Help Wanted, which does have a scrap version of Funko's baby plush. Just weird that it never became a real thing. Although, maybe we actually dodged a bullet there, Scrap Baby is definitely not a design that's conducive to a plush toy in any sense anyway. At least with the nightmares, we could tap into that goofy animal vibe to provide a little cuteness. Scrap Baby is just a scary human doll thing. She's like a grosser Chucky. But I will indeed try my absolute best with what I got. We do have a baby base to work off of, so that's a great starting point. A particular detail that immediately jumps out to me as an issue, though, is this hair. All of our human-esque plushies up to this point just so happen to have solid blocks of hair that works really well for simplified stuffed toys. This design, though, has like 100 individual hair strands. How are we going to tackle that? Well, I present to you Raggedy Ann. Now, if you saw this and thought, why does that look like Ragatha from the Amazing Digital Circus? You were way too young to be watching this channel. I guess me saying fuck a lot didn't scare you off. Go do your math homework. This channel is not for you.
It's not for kids.
Yarn hair similar to this would work perfect for Scrap Baby, while still keeping to that plush look. It's literally perfect for it. Although in this case, there will be fewer, thicker yarn strands instead. As far as everything else goes, it'll just take some of our particularly placed withered stitch lines and a lot of simplifying of the model's detail. So here's the finished product. As you can see, our original baby did a good amount of basic legwork here, but even then, it was still tricky to make this thing look good. If you didn't know, Scrap Baby isn't actually a direct edit of the original baby model, meaning I had to make some tweaks to her head and face. The eyes are smaller and closer together, and the mouth is a lot taller, to name a few. The hair, like I mentioned, is made of a bunch of yarn strands in different colors, just like the plastic strands on the original model. The pigtails on either side are also made of these strands. However, since they would be too floppy to hold this angle, they would need, say it with me, something on the inside to provide support. Wow, good job! Going to the body, we have some details from the model that were important enough to include, like this hole in the chest with these little stoplight circle things on them, all just stitched detail, of course. The skirt that's split into two parts, the exposed metal arm, and the iconic claw hand, just simplified way down from what it looked like originally. Oh yeah, and on her feet, I added these little wheel-like shapes to sort of resemble her rollerblade feet, just in a slightly more abstract way. With all that, we have a Scrap Baby plush that's at least a little cuter than her in-game counterpart. With what I had, I think I did a pretty good job. She's an ugly creature, but she's my ugly creature. Well, some guy in Texas's ugly creature, actually. He has a lot of those.
There's a myth going around that you can stick Molten Freddy into molten lead and not get hurt.
Every time I get a robot that's misbehaving.
So what if we took Ennard and we just started fucking just fuck him in like... We've dealt with some messy guys before, but none this messy. Ennard at least had a human form to him. This guy is a wadded up pair of earbuds with a melted Freddy mask taped to it. What am I supposed to do with that? I'm not talking to you. Looking at the mystery mini that was made of him, you can see their solution was to give him a kind of cone base shape instead of legs here to mimic the pile of wires he's made of. I think a similar approach would work for a plush too, just without as many stray wires. For the head, I think a heavily altered version of our Funtime Freddy would work best here, just with a big open mouth similar to what we did with Withered Chica and Nightmare Fredbear. However, there's a bit of an issue that arises when you realize that Molten Freddy's head and face is extremely lopsided. He's meant to look melted, so pretty much everything on his face is warped in an uneven way, making his features incredibly unsymmetrical. Like, this part of his jaw is practically falling off. Not only does this make him hard to simplify, it'll also be a huge logistical issue when it comes to the actual structure of the plush. To make his snout part be turned sideways and have the jaw be disconnected like this, it would be way too much of a hassle. Even if it could be done, I think it would look really weird anyway. So instead, we'll do the tried and true technique of faking the effect. I'll show you what I mean. Here he is. I took Funtime Freddy's head, tweaked the shape, and gave him a tall open jaw like so. All of this base structure is symmetrical like usual, however, I altered some smaller details like the ears, eyes, eyebrows, and brown chin parts to make them all unevenly placed like they are in the model. This combined with the head tilt I gave him. Been a while since we've done that, huh? I'll give across the melted, warped vibe without making the plush an absolute mess. He also has these thick-stitched, darker lines on the face to resemble how broken apart the plastic is. I have no idea how these chunks are being held together, by the way. Must be Fazgoo or something. Going down to the body, I made it entirely dark gray with vertical seams running down everything, alternating between thick stitch lines and thin. Although on the cone-like base, these lines start to spiral around to make it look more like a pile of wires. They even end in strings coming off the plush to add to the effect. The arms are the chunkier bell-end ones that we use sometimes to resemble the rough shape the massive wires form on the model. And since Molten Freddy has like giant hands, I felt having his fingers represented similar to the puppets would make sense here. And flipping him around, you can see that he has a similar backside to Ennard, where the head is more of a mask with a mass of wires coming out of it. Top all of that off with some stray wire threads all around and one brown bow tie, and you got yourself a Molten Freddy. He's not super adorable or anything, but again, given the design, I think I did a decent job. And with that, we arrive at our last plushie for today, Scraptrap. And before you say anything, I'm totally prepared this time. I have my special Oof Troop power bracelet on, providing my body the perfect amount of energy it needs to power through. Let's go. It makes that sound too. I don't know why.
Sorry I didn't have time to get you a Valentine's Day present.
Just having you home safe is the only present I need.
Oh, Francine, you know I'll always come back.
Throughout this whole series, I've genuinely been really excited to get to Scraptrap. Like, how could I not be? I used to have a pretty strong hatred for this guy, but over the years, I've developed a really strange love for him. Like, I still think this design sucks ass, but it's in such a silly way that I can't help but find him appealing. Look at his big, stupid head and tell me you don't feel something. So now I get to funnel this semi-ironic love into an ugly plush toy. My dream. Really, all this will be is Springtrap with a differently shaped head and missing arms, so nothing I have to go over beforehand. I'll just go ahead and show him. Here's Afton. I'm kidding, Scraptrap. No one on Earth still calls him Afton. Getting this strange head shape right was definitely the part I put the most effort into for him. Made sure to give him that big old juicy cranium and everything. And oh my god. The bone ears. This is like the stupidest detail I've ever included on one of these plushies, but I had to. If I missed the chance to give Scraptrap his stupid bone ears, I'd never forgive myself. We have some more patches of different colored fabric closed off by our stitch lines as well, like the red flesh parts on the back here and around the mouth, the big exposed skull part on the head, and the gray metal end of the ear, all very important to his look. He also has his unique grayed out hollow pupils that he's got on this model. That was carefully selected, had to get that right. And of course, the cut off arm with the classic bone spear. This one is short and stubby and cute though. Weird to call an exposed bone cute, but I guess that's just where we're at right now. Everything else follows the template of our original Springtrap, with the dark green, black, and red stitch lines all over the place. Although Scraptrap is of course a different shade of green, so made sure to reflect that in his base fabric color. That's pretty much it though. The fabled Scraptrap plush is finally here. I'm proud of this little freak of nature. It's not his fault he looks like this. William can't help that his ear cartilage somehow formed into solid bone. And that's all for this episode. Next time, we'll finish off the Cawthon era with the rest of the Pizzeria Simulator's animatronics and a few Ultimate Custom Night ones. I know I kinda blew my scrap animatronic load this time, but we still have the rock stars and some other stragglers for next time. May even be a surprise or two. Who knows? Do you knows? I don't. Anyway, it's time to close the video out, and I'm just gonna be upfront with you guys for a sec. I've had some time to think on things. I've done some soul searching, and I think I'm finally ready to move on. It's a pretty big step, I know, but I decided to bring on another character. I think you guys deserve that, and it'll be good for me too. So, yeah. Let me introduce you to the new Bizabizow character, Farmer Francine. Hey y'all, I'm Farmer Francine. Nice to meet you. I love a hard day's work, but what I love more is having a bang-tootin' time with my friend Ty. I can't wait to get to know y'all and have some wacky hijinks along the... What? Your catchphrase is dang tootin'. Dang tootin'. Oh, yeah. A dang tootin' time. I can't wait to get to... Stop. What are you doing? I'm doing my lines. Did you think to maybe come to this prepared? To act like you care about this a little? Do you give a shit about any of this? Do you give a shit about any of this? Yes. Do you think I'm a fucking idiot? No. Do you? No. Just get out. Get out! Wow, that was embarrassing. Catch you guys next time. And I'd like to thank my skunklies over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting me. Prism, April B, Adelaide Parade, Malin, Chico Mode, Pewilliver, Fred Shrooms, Largan Snarf, Siderian, Xeno Dude Face, Dominic, Sled Masters, The Papini Bros Emporium, Jurgen the Bull, Juliet with a Handgun, Kongmen, JubeTube, Secret QWERTY 10, Derpity Doo, MEB, Wow Wow Till It's Websy, Beta Afro, Samwow the ShamWow, Cracked Vinyl, Soxyfee, Null, Indigo, Punbum, Christophine Place, Mixed Media, Skillamlink, Ori, Lopmon, Chimera Triplet, Yak Gak 5000, LeGrant Stanley, Zine Original, June of Hammers, Leslie N, BioBugs, Oddknock, Niall Price, A Swarm of Birds, OBS Cerberus, Ethel, Llama Cat, Amber Rain, Superbred T, Autobot Dan, Alex Richardson, Minnie May, Hex Kitty, Ego Kaskowitz, Hershey, Snake Fighter 64, Cassie Pult, Foolish Bard, Crexius, Plebcole, Foxy, Souls Days, Slothy, Acute Leah, Soap Bubble, Dr. Nivag, Miss Umbra, Bot Boo, Shays 64, Non-Binary Nightmare Bonnie Plush, The Aurora Boros, Mel MM2, Maya Yo, Brandon Bone, Jinxie's Juice, Ullman, Easy Snake Oven, Aster Pop, Goofball Man 3000, Cleo Watkins, Small Blue Blondie, Angelic Divas, Octabocta, Aimless Aeon, and The Munkin. If you'd like to join these wonderful folks, you can check out my Patreon in the link in the description. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and peace out.
Fuck this movie!